Hi everyone, and welcome to our daily show, The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics of the day right here in the heart of the newsroom. My name is Alyssa Wu, and I'm coming to you live from the Straits Times. We are streaming live from the newsroom and on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, do subscribe to our channel. I'll be joined very shortly by my newsroom colleagues, where we'll discuss the topics that got you talking today. Out of 105 global cities, Singapore is the city most ready for disruption brought about by artificial intelligence, or otherwise known as AI. This is according to an index that scored the cities across 4 broad categories: vision, activation ability, asset base, and growth trajectory. To talk more about this, we have ST Tech editor Irene. Hi Irene.
Hello.
Can you tell me more about this index, who created it, and how did they come up with the metrics?
Before we begin our discussion, I would like to put in a qualifier. No city is ready, Singapore included. We're just more ready than the rest, that's all. So it's relativity, right? And it was done by a New York-based research outfit, Oliver Wyman Forum. It's a subsidiary of a US consulting firm called Oliver Wyman. It's like PwC and Deloitte Consulting. So they look at various things like vision, activation ability, asset base, and growth trajectory. So there's a heavy emphasis on vision because Singapore is good at planning, and coming up with frameworks and paper writing, and then we also have plans to set up an interagency task force to look at AI. We're the first to come up with an AI framework to promote ethical use of the technology, even before the EU came up with their own version of it. So the whole purpose is to engender trust in AI. And its growing application in many areas across industries. It's important as consumer resistance and ethical concerns may obstruct its future growth. And AI is said to be one of the engines of the 4th industrial revolution and promises economic benefits. So this is why we've put so much emphasis on planning to make sure that if executed, it's done properly. So this is one reason why Singapore come up top in the ranking.
Okay. So with the release of the results, will this then translate into more tech companies investing in Singapore or setting up their APAC hubs in Singapore?
I don't think investors look at rankings results alone. They do look at the same factors that researchers of these indices consider, like talent, infrastructure, that make a city attractive as an investment destination. One big draw Singapore has is tax incentives. Singapore is known to be very generous to attract a lot of startups and MNCs to base their operations in Singapore. So this is what Singapore is good at.
So the results are just cherry on top of the cake, lah.
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm surprised is that Singapore was the first, or is the first, that topped the list, because we've had quite a few high-profile data and privacy leaks. SingHealth being the most prolific. So how did Singapore still come up as the top?
Right. A lot of these, the methodology, they look at the presence of data protection laws and your legal regimes. They don't look at the number of breaches. Neither do they look and take into account citizens' feedback, how happy they are, and whether policies and legal regime works. So without that, you see things happening, and then it doesn't seem to quite tally with the findings. But help is on the way. There will be change soon in this. In October this year, another new index called the Smart City Index will be launched. It will measure elements such as citizens' feedback and how happy they are with the use of technology and how effective they are. And this is done by the Swiss Business School IMD and SUTD. So citizen feedback, they realize, is an important factor that they must take into account when determining how to rank cities for how smart, how safe, how inclusive, how sustainable, how competitive they are.
Since we're on the topic of what citizens think about their own city's tech readiness and so on and so forth, a lot of Singaporeans are anxious about the impact their job will have, so basically the impact of technology on their jobs, and many are thinking that their jobs will either be made obsolete or will significantly change. So I'd like to know, what sort of roles or jobs do you think will be most affected by AI?
I think at this point in time, I think AI serves to assist human beings in doing our jobs faster and better. So I think the bottom line is, as long as we are adaptable, we change with the needs of the job, and we change with the needs of the industry and the economy, we should do fine. Robots taking over jobs completely, I think it will affect certain sectors more prominently than others. For instance, say in banking, your bank analysts, or your call centers. These jobs are most at risk. A computer can do a much better and faster job than your bank analyst. But in healthcare, for example, because human beings robots cannot empathize as well as people like us. So in healthcare, I think there is still place for healthcare workers. It's the least likely to be disrupted. Although technologies are already helping with spotting cancer and also certain health ailments and stuff like that. So I think it's coming, but we need to change our mindset to be able to move along with the changes. I think that's really important, to be adaptable.
Okay, so let's go back to the ranking. So I'm surprised that China is not in the top 10. China was actually at the below, we still made it to top 20, but still not top 10. Why is that so? Because I thought China was at the forefront of a lot of technology.
Yeah, I was equally surprised actually, and I asked the researchers the same questions. Why is China not in the top 10 in the overall ranking? The answer was they scored relatively lower scores for the other categories, but they did very well in one particular category. It's called the growth trajectory. The reason why they did so well is because China's high tolerance for privacy invasive technologies like gait recognition, facial recognition, it's used extensively in surveillance and also in payments. That has helped the country, helped cities, Chinese cities in particular, in Shenzhen, Beijing, Guangzhou, Shanghai, and Hangzhou. These few cities they are the top 5 in the growth trajectory category. So it gives these cities a longer runway to develop AI technologies and to see it grow and become more pervasive. So, but China, it has a lot of potential. It's just that maybe in the other areas like governance, it didn't do as well as other cities. But they may soon catch up, for all we know.
Anyway, we'll just wait for the next edition of the ranking to come out. Now, Singapore is also the world's second most digitally competitive country. This is after the United States. The results came in the latest edition of the IMD World Digital Competitiveness Ranking. This is a renowned and long-running survey, so this ranks the most competitive economies in the world. So Irene, what does it mean to be the most digitally competitive?
All right, in short, it means an economy's ability to transform itself digitally in every way. Businesses going online and getting rid of traditional paper-based processes and streamlining it, with digital methods. And also government going online with e-citizen services, and also the wider society, the population being tech savvy. All these work together to keep a city competitive. So that is what the ranking, the index does. It measures how competitive cities are in these areas.
So right now, we are familiar that Singapore is going through an economic downturn. So with us being so competitive, right, would this somehow help to bolster our confidence or help us with the economy?
I think there may be short downturns. It's just we got to look into the future and the longer term future, how to be prepared for this future. I think disruption will come, and it will come quickly. We already faced the first wave of disruption with the launch of new technologies, how Grab is disrupting the transport sector, and we've seen how other technologies have disrupted other sectors in healthcare, in e-citizens. And the next wave will be 5G, will involve 5G technologies and AI and so on. So it's always good to be number 1 and number 2 and to be among the top 5 or 10. I think no city should be complacent about these rankings, because things change, and they change very quickly, and we cannot look into the future. We don't know what's next. It's better to always be prepared for for what's next by having the mindset of being adaptive, to always be to be adaptable and to be and to embrace change as they come and not resist them. So that's the message that we've been told, every day to embrace technology, to change. That's from business leaders, from our governments, from the authorities. I think there's some truth in it. We need to do that.
Thank you, Irene. Well, I think it's easier said than done, but if there's a will, there's a way.
Thank you.
Right? Thank you. That was a very fruitful discussion.
Yes.
Now on to our next segment. This is another disruptor to our traditional 9-to-5 jobs in the rise of the gig economy. People who are Grab drivers, Deliveroo riders and Ninja van drivers, they are in charge of their own time, their workload and also their pay. And my colleague as the film correspondent John Lee, he has been dipping his finger into every pie. So far he's been a durian seller, a GrabFood delivery rider and most recently a Ninja van delivery driver.
So I'm going to scan them and then they tell me where to go from B1 to B8, the subzone.
So that was John. For the full video and the story, look out for it this Sunday, September 29. This will be on straitstimes.com. I have John here with me. Hi John.
Hello.
I think red is your color. You look very fetching.
Thank you. I wear that every day.
Okay, so the whole reason why you're doing these jobs and that Ninja van job, right, is for your regular column on gig economy. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about this series. Did someone put a knife to your neck and tell you, okay, you've got to do it? Or
They almost did. I did a series like this a few years ago. It was on all kinds of jobs. And my editor, Susan Long, thought that it was time to revive it. But to put a new twist on it, we were going to be heavily influenced by jobs in the new economy, the so-called new economy, where you could just pick up and drop it in your own time. So, of course, we had to do GrabFood delivery and new jobs like that created by the thing. Yeah.
And I understand that you're running out of ideas.
I am running out of ideas. I desperately need ideas.
So if you have any suggestions as to what John should do in his series, please feel free to email him. So John, where can they reach you?
John Louis, Lui at sph.com.sg.
If email is too much trouble, you can always comment in the comment section as well. We're easy, anything goes.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so without giving too much away about your Ninja van stint, maybe you can tell us what's the most fun part about doing that job?
You saw in the video, the most fun part is riding the electric pallet truck.
Right.
It's like pod racing, but really slow. The next fun thing is playing with the hand scanner.
Okay.
It's like, I made a pew pew noises with it. I admit we went pew 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 with the hand scanner. So that was the second most fun thing about it.
Okay. And so far when you were thinking of what jobs to do, right, or that you haven't done yet, what is one gig economy job that you're most curious about?
One gig economy job. Well, actually, I don't really have anything in mind, but I'm open to any suggestion about jobs that have been created recently that people can just do, a couple of hours a day.
I think you make a very good salesman. You can probably try selling things online. The Facebook live videos, and then you sell things.
Yes, maybe that's an idea. I could be someone who sells on Carousel or one of those marketplaces. That's one thing I'm scared to do. I've bought things on online marketplaces, but I've never dared to sell.
Why?
Because it would involve taking money from a stranger, and I have a mental block about it.
Okay, I think viewers should know that John is a big shopper online, like he mentioned.
I thought that was a secret between us.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay.
So some of the jobs that you've done. So I mentioned you've done durian selling. You've been a GrabFood delivery rider. So for these jobs, right? Did any of them surprise you? Like, were they what you expected or not?
What surprised me? Okay, durian selling might not seem like very new economy, but what I learned about it is that it's show business, right? So it means selling yourself. So if you can cut a durian with confidence, people feel more inclined to buy from you because you look like you know what you're doing. And also, you need to do sales. So this guy that I work with selling durian, he had a WhatsApp group, like filled with like I don't know how many dozens of people. So every day, you know, like, oh, you know, Wang Mao San is in at how many dollars, and that. So he'll text his WhatsApp group.
Yep.
So nowadays, you know, the digital economy touches everything. Tarot cards. I learned that you don't actually have to know anything about a person to tell his fortune. Now that it's all online, you just pay the person and they'll just give you a fortune.
Can you please tell us the experience? Can you elaborate on that?
I wanted to know what it was like I wanted to learn how to tell the tarot cards online. But first I had to be a customer. So I tested it out, and to my surprise, you know, they didn't know, they weren't at all curious about me or
There were two
like
of them, correct?
One asked me, I asked about my career, one I asked about romance. By the way, both were very bad.
You were doomed, right? You said.
I was doomed, like the Titanic, I was doomed in both. But the one about my career didn't ask me anything about why. It just bare minimum. I just said I was a writer and that's it. And off they went. And they wrote me up a fortune. Yeah.
A doomed fortune, unfortunately.
Sad, yes.
Okay, that's very interesting though, I think. And I actually think they could be a scam, but you disagree, right? Because they apparently had more than 100 5-star reviews.
Yeah, so, you know, you think it's a scam that these people just write things, just fantasies, right? Or copy paste from someplace, from a giant Google Doc they have somewhere, right? But, you know, they have like all these 5-star reviews. So you go like, a lot of people vouch for them. So it can't be a scam, can it? I don't know.
I would like to think it's a scam just because you had a bad fortune.
Oh, okay, thank you. I like your faith in me.
Okay, so
I appreciate it.
So last question, now that you've done a few gig economy jobs, what are your overall thoughts and opinions on such jobs?
Well, I realized that you can always be making a small amount of money at any time. So if you're sitting around the couch surfing the net, you could actually be out there delivering food and making $5 every few minutes, you know. So really, it just makes you feel bad that you're sitting around because you could be making money.
But then again, you do this on the side because you have a full-time job as a film correspondent. But can you imagine for those who are doing it full-time, do you think that, you know, it's sustainable in the long run? They can make a living off just doing such jobs?
Sure. I mean, we've all met Grab drivers who do it full-time. I think I spoke to a couple of food delivery guys who do it full-time. You can, you know, you won't make you ridiculously rich, but I think it's a mixture of making enough money to suit your lifestyle and doing a job that you like. I mean, doing GrabFood, I realized that a lot of these people do it because they really like riding around outside, meeting people and exploring new places.
Okay, so you won't be quitting your day job anytime soon?
Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I'm not making profit. My tarot card says I don't have a future here anyway, so.
Okay, I hope you go get your fortune read again, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, John.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you. So John's video and article on his experience being a Ninja Van delivery rider, that will be out this Sunday in the Sunday Times and also on straitstimes.com. So those were our top stories for the day. For more news and videos, do log on to straitstimes.com. Once again, I'm Alyssa. Have a good weekend. For more big stories, join us next Monday.